Hello everyone. So as we all are might well aware of that, I am currently recording UI policy series. So I have already posted the basic conceptual understanding of UI policy within ServiceNow, and also I have explained all the conditions why we need to use UI policy and when to use UI policies. So today video is quite special where I will be going to cover few requirements that we get related to UI policies. For example, let's say what kind of stories you might expect while working on ServiceNow related to UI policies. So I have came up with five different requirements where we will be going to implement it into our service now. So into our form which we were discussing. So before hopping out into this video, please make sure that you watch the part 1 and part 2 of UI policy series. So let's start with our first requirement. So I want to make sure, so the table which we are using is obviously is our student event registration system. So which we used in our previous labs as well. So the first requirement that we gonna cater is close node should be mandatory and visible when state is closed. So the moment I have when my state is in closed, so I should have, close node. So there is something called as a close node. So I say that, okay, the close node should be mandatory and visible when my state is in a closed state. So this is my first requirement. So let me right click, let me click on configure, and let me go to UI policies. And let me leave the site. Now let me click on new. So I will write that close nodes should be visible and mandatory when state is closed. Okay, this a meaningful description will do. Again, we will have a state is, and I will say that closed, and I will click on save. So in my past classes, I have explained all these keywords. Let's see, why we use global, why we use onload, why we use recursive false and inherit in my first video. Please do check my first video in the series. So yeah, now into the UI policies section, I will click on new. Now which field I want to control here is close note. So I will click on close note. I will make mandatory and true and visible as true. We need to check read only as we will keep read only as leave alone because read only is not participating into our UI policy. So just a hint, if you ever want to feel that which to keep leave only or when to keep false, if you have a UI policy that is being participating the uh, in the logic building, then only you have to make it either true or false. If not, then only make it as leave alone. So let me click on submit. Now let's wait for a bit to get it inserted. Once our UI policy is inserted, it's time for testing. I will just reload the form. I will move my state to. So if can I go to resolution code? I cannot see that closed notes. If I just move my state to closed, my closed note is mandatory and it is visible on the form. If I just make it to on hold, now it's not mandatory, but the mandatory now it is visible. The moment I made it to closed, I can see the closed note as visible. So this is for all my first requirement. Now let's talk about the second requirement. So I want my cancel reason should be mandatory and visible when my state is cancelled. So to extend this, I have a field called as cancelled at. So I will do some changes on my form. So to make it more clear and make it more concise. Okay. So I will just right click, configure. I will use form design for this, or a form. You can use form builder, which is the latest version, but I will go to form design. I will click on form design. Now let's wait for the form to get loaded. Now let me just close this window. Now within my uh, resolution information section, I have got, okay, cool. Cancel that. Now I will also add one more field type here, which is string. And I say that, okay, cancelled at, and I will name this as, let's say, which we have cancel reason. So let me add a cancel reason here. The reason here. Okay. So the reason to add a cancels. Okay. So you comma cancel underscore reason. This will be our field. And let's say the length of the string to be for now 100. Okay. So the maximum length should be 100. Or let us keep it some more big. Let's say 200 will do. Okay, cool. Now let me save the form. So now if I just refresh the window, now I can see my cancel that and cancellation reason, cancel reason. Okay. So now when my state is in cancelled, I want my cancel at and cancel region to pop up. Okay. So now I will go to my again UI policies. So let me close this window. I will just duplicate the window. Now let me close this tab. Now we go to, let it get loaded. Right click, configure. Now I will go to UI policies. Now let me click on new. Let's wait for a bit. Okay. You have to make sure that the UI policy is an advanced view to see all these options. So here there is a default view a related link. So likewise, if the UI policy is in a default view, you can see a advanced view related link as well. Okay. So let's add here cancel reason and cancel at should be mandatory and visible if state is cancelled. Okay, cool. Now let me click on, now let me choose the condition. State is cancelled. Cool. Now let me save the form. So likewise, we will be going to do more three requirements, and then we will start UI policies on related list. So now I have this UI policies action. I will click on new, and I want my cancel. Is there any, do we have cancel reason? I want to make it true and visible as true. And then I will click on submit. Now we can have click on new again. So likewise, I will go to click on cancel cancellation. So I will click on cancel that and I will make it true and visible will be true. Let me click on submit. Okay, so now we have two your policy action. One is cancel that and one is cancel reason. Okay, so now let me go to the form. Let me reload the form. Now I don't have cancel reason and cancel at. So the moment I will click to state as cancel that, I have cancelled that and cancel reason displaying over the form in the resolution information section, and I can uh, and it is clearly visible for me. Okay, cool. Now similarly, let's say if I really have one, one thing that if you can see here, that may I have a cancel that populated, and then I have this is cancelled. Then later on, the user decided the field is need not to be cancelled. Okay, then he goes to in progress now and then tries to save the form. Now the user goes to in progress. Let's not save the form at this moment, but the moment it goes to new again or the cancelled again, I can see the values didn't got erased. Okay, so we want that the moment if it is at cancel, it moves to some other state. Let's say that later on the user came to know that okay, this need not to be cancelled. We have to reopen it. So, and it moves to resolved. And then user came to know that okay, uh, then later in the series he got some news from the management state and no, we have to cancel this incident. And he goes to the cancel and he observes that the field values um, aren't erased. Okay, so to erase these field values, there is one more option which we have it on the UI policy. So if I just go here, so when I open the cancel that, so the UI policy which we have created just now, when I click on cancel that and cancel reason, so there is one checkbox which I also know as clear the field value. So the moment you click on this checkbox and let me save the form and let me click on the clear the value, save the form. Let's try this as well. Okay, so that it is more intuitive. Let me refresh. If it doesn't work, that we might we will be debugging this issues in the later in the coming sessions. If I just go to cancelled, I open the cancel at as 12 and I move it to test and then again reverse the false and then again move to cancel. Now I cannot see that, so the my feed values are now erased, so the field values are now cleared. So that's how this clear the field value is very one of the most essential utilities. Okay, so hope you got this point. So so that's how you can make your form more intuitive and more user friendly without writing a single line of code. So we will be analyzing this while with the help of scripting as well when we will be discussing it client scripts. But as of now, you can click on the clear the field value checkbox so that to see the visibility that the values get cleared when it is not cancelled. Okay, cool. Let me close the. Now let's have one more requirement. Okay, so this requirement 3 is quite straightforward again based on the above two requirement, but let's try to understand this fifth requirement. I say that when choice is event, I want to hide subcategory and make event field visible and mandatory. Okay, so if I just go to my form, so whenever I want that my category should be event, I want to make this event name to be visible and I want to hide my subcategory. Okay, and I want to make it mandatory as well. So for before doing it, I will be removing the mandatory field, so on at a dictionary level. Okay, so if I just go here, so the how we can navigate to dictionary, let me duplicate the tab you can click if you have SN utils installed, which I have. So you can click on this line in between, like open dictionary entry. You can click on it, it will open dictionary entry for you. If you don't have SN utils installed, you can just right click on the field, and you can just click on configure dictionary. So that's how you will going to achieve. So now if I just let me open the open dictionary. Let me click on, let me uncheck this mandatory checkbox and let me click on save. Now let me close the window and let me just refresh the form. So the event name is now not a mandatory. Okay. Now let me reorganize our form a bit. Let me right click over the form, configure form design. I usually prefer form design. It's for me it's quite easy. So you can use form builder instead. Okay. Now let me pull this below event, below category. Let me save the form. Cool. When this is being done, let me refresh the window. Okay, good. Now my event name is below. Now I will right click. I will click on configure. I will click on UI policies. Now let me click on new. Let me reload this form here. I see that cat category is event, display event, and make event field mandatory, and s- hide subcategory. Okay, cool. Now I will click on here. Category is event. Let me save the form. Now I'll go to UI policy actions. I will click on new. I will make this event field as mandatory and visible. So I click on event name. Okay. So this event name. Okay. So do have other fields, but okay. For now, let's have the fields that are visible on the form. Okay. So event name, mandatory as true, visible as true. And let us click on the clear the field value as well. If I just click on submit. Now let me click on new again. Let me click on field name as okay. Let me click on uh, event over here. So we want to hide the subcategory. Click on subcategory, and mandatory as true, mandatory as okay, leave alone, visible as false. So we have to hide the fields and we have to clear the field value if there was any field value selected. Now let me go to the form again. Let me refresh the form. So we have got this UI policy inserted. I will have two, which is event name and subcategory. I will go over here. Let me click on my category as event. And now I can see my event name mandatory and populated on the form. If I have just some other thing, so it will only show the subcategory. Okay. For software, for hard database or anything. Okay. So if it has some past value selected, And if I again go to event, and I will go to database, so the past value got erased. So that's the best part of having this uh, clear the field value selected as true. So that's all the 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 requirements or the use cases of the UI policies. That's all from my end. In the next class, we will be understanding that how we can control UI policies on related list. So we do have one more tab. You see here. Let's go back. It the PDI is very slow, guys. The PDI is very slow. I don't know why, but yeah, the PDI is slow. Okay, so we have got this UI policy related list actions. So we will make sure that how to use this related list actions and why and the reasons to use this. Okay, so let's meet in the next class. Thank you. Please like if you like my videos, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and thanks a lot. Thank you so much. We'll meet you in the next